Today, I watched Skyline, which is about the... Skyline is about a group of people trying to survive when they learn the troublesome tidings of an alien invasion. That means bad news. They all have to work together to figure out what makes these aliens tick and what's happening to their faces when they see the light that the aliens give off. Whatever's happening can't be good because these aliens are sucking up people, using them for their own personal gain, even though we don't really know what that's for. The people category. When it comes down to acting, I feel like they tried, but it was never really there. It mostly had to do with suspense and action and sci-fi and what's going on in the world with the aliens than it is about real emotions or drama or anything like that. So even though they had certain dramatic things in there, like somebody's pregnant and how each character sees how the war outside is survivable or not, they have dramatic things in there that are just not focused on that much, so the acting specifically doesn't follow suit. It's just shock, action, blah, 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 blah. So acting gets 1 out of 2 possible stars. Casting, like I mentioned before, I do like the casting a lot. However, I can't really say with any kind of certainty, that the cast members couldn't have been cast by anybody else. I can't say that. I like who's in it. None of it shouts. Nobody else can play it but them. None of that feels right. So 1 out of 2 possible stars for casting. Importance. Unfortunately, I don't see a lot of importance when it comes to the characters. Pretty much everybody blends in together as survivors of an alien invasion, and that's basically it. They don't even play a huge role in destroying the aliens, because what's going on outside, you have the military attacking them, you have the aliens themselves doing God knows what, and you have these people inside a building yelling at each other trying to figure out what to do. None of that really feels like important to the plot. It's just maybe character development, but not to the plot. Just focusing on the lives of these people. So as far as importance goes, I will say 1 because it did have a couple of moments in there that did add to the plot. Chemistry, like I said, with the character that's having a child, they didn't make enough focus on that to make the chemistry feel legit. It just felt like a plot device, which is fine and everything, but you don't feel the chemistry. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Writing. When it comes to the dialogue, I don't think I really noticed anything specific that grabbed my attention in any way. Pretty much just typical dialogue all around. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Balance, I would say for the most part it is a balanced film that follows the story of an alien invasion as simply as possible by focusing on these group of characters who follow the leader. They're all in the same scenes all the time, so it is balanced. 2 out of 2 possible stars. How about the story? Unfortunately, there isn't much story here other than, hey, this is an alien invasion, survive it, and this person is pregnant, and this person is... and this person sees... Those 2 things are great and everything, and I will give it points for that, but overall, it's not the strongest story. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Originality, I do see this as a very original film. Yes, it's got elements in here that feel a little bit like the structure of War of the Worlds, but where it has that, it has a ton of other things that don't match War of the Worlds. It only matches itself, and it feels unique, and it feels original all around. It feels like an alien movie that I would like to see more than 1 time. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Interesting. Yes, like I said, it's a very interesting movie. The trailers look super interesting. If you watch movie clips, those look interesting, and it's just pretty cool. It grabs your attention from the get-go and pretty much holds on to it throughout. Interesting gets 2 out of 2 possible stars. BTS. Behind the scenes. The visuals are really good, especially for a movie that people don't really know about for the most part. The visuals are good. There's a lot of alien sequences here. You might think that some of the effects aren't expensive, like some look like they could possibly be cheaper effects, but the way they're dealt with makes it feel like they're not cheap, that they are Hollywood A-class effects, which is really cool. The way that they did it, specifically, they knew their strengths. 2 out of 2 possible stars for visuals. Directing, the director gets kudos for what they did with the film. Some sequences in the film feel cheap based off of camera work, based off of how it overall looks. For the scenes that aren't using CGI, just the normal scenes do look like they have cheaper cameras maybe. The director did what they could with the movie to make it feel like it flows correctly, that they used their strength. It might look like cheap camera work, but the director takes that to their advantage and does what they can. That's only if you're really paying attention to it. Anybody else watching it could absolutely feel like it's just cheap, period. As far as that goes, director gets 1 out of 2 possible stars. Editing, I don't think I really noticed anything editing-wise that looked spectacular. I was too mesmerized by the visuals that are going on with the aliens and what's happening there. Nothing felt like it was the editor's duty to make it look that great. I think it was more on the visual effects team. So editor's job gets 1 out of 2 possible stars. Advertisement, it was as advertised, nothing wrong there, no false advertisement, 2 out of 2 possible stars. Music, not much to speak of here. It's basically what it needs to be in order to fit the theme of the film and to feel good. Just, you're not going to listen to a score or soundtrack or anything like that for this movie. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Narrative arc score. The introduction, we are introduced to a ton of characters which end up being our main characters for the film. What their roles are for the most part when it comes down to why everybody is there. 2 out of 2 possible stars. The inciting incident is pretty clearly when the aliens first start showing up and beaming their lights at everybody, and when people start disappearing and all that fun stuff. 2 out of 2 possible stars. The obstacles, of course, are our main characters running back and forth trying to evade the alien invaders. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Climax, of course, is the culmination of everything, and it feels like that. Absolutely. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Falling action. When I think of falling action, I think of two things: a calming down of sorts and a new norm. There is no calming down moment at all. It's just the climax, boom, and then there's a new norm, and then it ends. So as far as that goes, I have to just say 1 out of 2 possible stars. Entertainment score. Do I consider this a rewatchable movie? Yes, absolutely. This is a whole heck of a lot of fun watching, so rewatchability and fun gets 2 out of 2 possible stars. It also sucks me in really well from beginning to end, grabs your attention, and keeps pulling at you until the movie ends. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Do I have an impulse to buy it or own it? Not to really buy it. I would accept it as a gift, and I would possibly buy it if it were cheaper, like for a digital copy only. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Do I have an impulse to talk about it past this review? I thought about it, and I think for the most part, no. I think I covered everything that I want to say in this review. 0. Specialty. Wanted to know a few things. It's an alien movie. How well is it as an alien movie? On IMDb, the genres are action, sci-fi, and thriller. Well, we already know it's sci-fi, so I don't need to know that, but I would like to know how well it does with the action and if it's thrilling. I also want to know how Eric Balfour does, because out of all the cast members, he's the one that I see most. The concept of alien invasions, I've seen a ton of alien movies, and there's some really, really good ones that people bring up all the time, but I've always thought of this one as unique. The way that it grabs your attention with the lights the aliens are beaming and how it's affecting people is definitely something that'll pretty much suck anybody in who's watching the movie for the first time. As far as alien invasion movies go, this is 10 out of 10 possible stars. As far as action goes, there is a lot of action in the movie, of course. There's some really violent moments in the movie. There's not a lot of gore or anything, but what's happening just in general to a bunch of people in the movie is definitely violent and crazy at times. 10 out of 10 possible stars. Thriller? Yes, I would also put in the word suspense. There's lots of thrilling moments and lots of suspense, and you really don't know how these people are going to get out of the situation because it looks like the end of the world as we know it. So as far as that goes, 10 out of 10 possible stars. Eric Balfour, I've seen him in quite a few different shows, primarily speaking Haven and 24, but I've seen him in a lot of other things. I haven't seen him really in any movies. When it comes down to thinking about him, I think of those shows, of course. But if anybody asks me if I've ever seen a movie with him in it, I'd have to say Skyline, 10 out of 10 possible stars. Finally, is it halfway decent? Yes, I believe it is very decent. I think people should give it a shot if they've never seen it before. It's a lot better than you probably think. In my opinion, Give it credit where credit is due. 10 out of 10 possible stars for halfway decent. If we add up all of those points, we get 86 out of 100 possible stars. 86%. That's a darn good movie. Guys, tell me what you think of 2010 Skyline in the comments below. Tomorrow I will be reviewing the sequel that is coming out tomorrow called Beyond Skyline. So look out for that review. And as always, follow me on Twitter and Tracked.tv at username IAMDWG. That's IMDWG. And for YouTube, subscribe to me, hit that like button, and hit that bell to be notified when I come out with my next movie review, which of course is Beyond Skyline. See you guys then. Peace out.